Hello. Okay, this is going to be the beginning of Distant Worlds 2 streaming. That's right, we're going to be streaming Distant Worlds 2. Our hope here, just to make sure everything's working, the hope here is to finally be able to actually finish a Refugee fleet game without everything falling apart, because everything always falls apart. Every single time we do it, it falls apart. It's not the best. It's not super fun. Doesn't go super well. But this time, this is going to be the time. I feel almost sure of it. Like I have a plan this time. We're giving up on the whole Quimeno thing. I don't know. It was too much. Too much to ask, trying to do a brand new race while also trying to learn how to make the refugee fleet thing work. And it was too much. So we've got everything basically ready to go through. Because of my RAM upgrade, we're going to be boosting back up to 1,000 stars, which I think is my preferred size of game anyway. Nebula density, everything here is just basically the same as I always play. We're leaving the AIs at pre-warp to give us a bit of a tech advantage, which we definitely need for refugee fleet. This stuff is normal. We actually have lower pirate strength than I usually do. I usually do strong, but the start in refugee fleet is so unstable that I don't feel confident with it on strong. All this stuff is the same. Usually I increase this by 1. Okay. And then we're playing Zenox. Why? Because I love the space cats. I love the cold space cats. And I think we'll have less competition. I think we'll have less planetary competition, which should help us out, right? We should be able to find some planets, hopefully. I mean, it might take a couple of loads to get this to work, but that's fine. We're doing a refugee fleet. They can name us whatever we want. And now the key to the strategy change, the key is I am doing refugee fleet, starting exploration and colonization, and using my second colony ship just for population on the first world I find. That will give us a huge population advantage at the beginning. I think will help us to overcome the fact that it's hard to start an economy when you are playing with a refugee fleet. It's just been my experience so far. You know, it might not be that good. Let's hope. Let's hope it turns out okay. You know, I'm just gonna pause for a second here. Just check a few small things. No, this isn't Stellaris. This is Distant Worlds 2. Okay. We're just gonna set some of our victory conditions to be a little bit softer. Just so the game doesn't necessarily take forever. Also pushed back the date of the Return of Shakturi storyline, because we probably won't be ready for it that quickly. And let's do our first start. Let's do our first load. Ugh. Um, I think I don't think it's a one-to-one comparison. I don't think this game and Stellaris do the exact same thing. Stellaris has a lot more. I guess it's much more based on sort of like the traits of your civilization. This game is much more just straightforward space conquest, and it has only like preset civilizations. Stellaris is really about building your civ and then sort of experiencing the specific civ through the world, which is why Stellaris is okay for role playing, but this game is much more technical than that. This game is much more it's just about figuring out how to survive your current circumstances. Let's get an overview of nearby stars so we can think about what we're doing. The fundamental strategy for this version, we're in a bad position, really bad, which means we may have a reload right away, but that happens. So it's not much we can do. We will at least try to move off before we give up, but as soon as we unpause, we're going to get attacked by these guys. Yeah, it's more tactical, it's more economy based. It's like Stellaris is sort of a softer game, I would say. Not that Stellaris is that soft, it's not that easy to understand, but it definitely is. It's trying to get you to interact with it in a more like storytelling way. It's got a lot more events, for example. This game is less event associated. It's more like building and construction associated. Like you're trying to figure out how to make things work well, design your ships, and run the economy. And Stellaris' economy is very straightforward. Okay, a lot of guys have fled instead of moved to where I put them, which is not unexpected. As long as our colony ships survive, we're okay to give it a shot. We need both of the colony ships. Just look here for colony ships. Yeah, they're both fine. I mean, I don't know, red health. Oh, that's not fine. They literally lost all of their armor, but that's not dead. Yeah, that's not a bad comparison. I would say if we were to compare it to if we were to compare it to like a Paradox game, it's much more like Victoria than it is like CK3. It's like you're focusing on getting your resources, building high quality ships, holding off your enemies. less on exploration, getting good events, getting good leaders. That's all stuff that Stellaris cares about a lot more. This game doesn't really... Well, you get leaders in this game, but they're never going to feel like people. First of all, this starting system has already got an independent colony in it. Not there. Is it here where we just fled to? Nope, that's a gas giant. Here. Nope. Okay, is it where we ran from? No. So where did we find an independent colony? Do we just see them because we're... Oh, they're down here. We just saw them because of our scan range. All right. Be okay. Yeah. I need to really think about what my starting strategy here is going to be. I picked exploration not just because it gives you free... Oh wait, we don't want to do that. That's not right. Okay. Not just because it gives us more colony ships and thus more starting civilians, but it also gives us more exploration ships, which should let us see if there's anything near us early. We might get... We might have problems. Wait, yeah, that's so I like completely messed up my hotkeys. Nice. What a way to start the game. Okay. Let's do all the hotkeys again. This ship. This ship. This ship. And this ship is hotkeyed. Now we can start exploration. We're not going to be able to do anything about that right away. Probably... If I can sneak someone over here... we already have a scan on that frozen moon, so we don't need to look at it. There's nothing else in here that could be useful to us. Oh, did I set too much research? Is that... No, we're where I expected to be. Okay. So we have a rocky ice moon, some extra ocean world, so not really a lot in here that's useful. We can start our research off in a way, though, that will work good for the people we've met. We can just get basic Ekdarian diplomacy right away, so it doesn't take that long to learn. And I'm just going to fan out the explorers into the... I've been playing too much Paradox games. Keep forgetting that the middle mouse button rotates in this. I haven't played either of those, no. I wanted to play Kingdom Deliverance, but I just sort of let it go. Just sort of pass. I'm not even sure why. I don't remember. I had a reason. The tech tree in this game, I think it's 6 tiers. And then some special stuff on the end. A lot of the tech in this game is just upgrades for things that you need. More than it is specialized tech. So that's another thing that's different from Stellaris. Stellaris, a lot of the tech is extremely situational specialized. Yeah, I watched a lot of videos about the game, but I never really... Like I said, I never played it. I didn't really get around to playing it. hopefully... Stellaris' tech tree is very complicated, and I think it really suits the game extremely well. But it can be hard to... It can be hard to do things with it on purpose until you really know how the game works. Like, it's not really intuitive how things connect together, which is really strange considering how intuitive the game is otherwise. Like, generally Stellaris is pretty intuitive in how things work, but figuring out how to get a specific tech in Stellaris can actually be very daunting. Things do connect together in a way where you can try to get specific techs to appear. The best one, right? Yeah, the best thing for you to explore is this. Then, yes, you can also do this. But it's a great tech tree. And once you get used to the weights and the tech associations and the categories, Stellaris' tech tree is great. Like, I really like the way it interacts with how you play the game. Yeah, I think CK3 and Stellaris are both very good for replayability. I think the strength of Stellaris is there's just so many different civilizations you can create, and each one creates its own play style. If you don't try to play it in a... is very odd. I must have misread one of my events because I have identified stuff already, and that's confusing. I think maybe when we discovered the station up here, we must have received some map data, and I didn't read it. Because these planets seem to already be explored. Which is not a bad thing. That's actually a really good thing. That's close. That ice planet is close to being habitable. There's no point in time. There's no point in exploring these one by one if we've already seen enough about them to just look if they're useful. Asteroids. Ice Moon is +4. Frozen Moon is 11. Yeah, I think one of the things that sort of I don't like about that idea is that there's no real way to get a holy order that's really feels thematically correct. I mean, you can play a bunch of religious characters in a normal mercenary company, but it doesn't have any specific way of interacting with religion beyond that, which can be a little bit difficult. When you're role-playing in CK3, the game is already fighting against you, so it's nice if the game has some support for what you're trying to do, and there's not a lot of support for that. There are a lot of ice planets here, and none of them are useful, which is not a good sign. And this is the closest, this 15, and 15 is not worth landing on. I guess it's a good boon, though, seeing that I've had to go this far out to see anything useful. I don't have to give up on this one yet, though. We'll go further. That being said, I can probably, like, I still like the idea. I do. I think that it would be really fun to play. I would have to figure out how to sort of construct it to make it interesting in the context of the way that I play CK3. Because it's really possible for it to not be interesting. Like, it's actually really easy for it to not be interesting. Yeah, I mean, the basic concept is not impossible. That's not what I'm trying to express. What I'm trying to express is, like, the reason why Demetrius works is because the game doesn't push back on the kinds of things I'm trying to do with him. Like, at all. And the reason his family works is because I built his family based on stuff I knew the game could do. One of the problems with a Holy Order is, except for the fact that I'm role-playing my characters as being religious, there's very little Holy Order stuff they can do. They can fight, and I can direct the roleplay by making them fight specifically the things that I want them to fight, but they can't, like, the world isn't going to anchor them in any way, and that can be difficult. Sometimes it's hard to, like the work that I put into my CK3 games is very often just trying to figure out a way to stay on topic and make the idea that I'm doing present and visible to the people watching. And a lot of times, some of the ideas that I'm most interested in, the reason why I don't do anything with them is simply because I don't know how to make them present to the player. Like, if a person was to watch any random episode of a sort of Templar or Holy Order based landless playthrough, how well would I be able to make them understand quickly? That's what I was doing. Yeah, I'm not saying I can't do it. But, like, I have to balance the amount of work I have to do with, like again, with the game fighting me, because the game will fight me if I do a Holy Order. It's fighting even simple. It fights even simple concepts, right? Like what I'm doing right now with Valencia is a super simple concept, but it is fighting it as an RP. It just wants me to conquer everyone around me. That's what the game would prefer I do. Now, I do love Oscum, and it is one of my favorite Ascum, and it is one of my favorite places to play, for sure, no question about it. And it is kind of actually strange that I haven't played it at all since I opened the channel, mostly because I was putting it off for a really good idea, mostly for a character that I really liked, because, you know, since I mostly do character-based roleplay, I need a character idea. Well, I mean, that character was a great idea, right? That character was an idea that like, the whole landless playthrough, the whole landless idea was that when that landless thing came out, I needed to have an idea that really focused on what it was about. And I think the old game had a lot of those traits that were for characters who were like seducers, but they didn't have any use for, like, there was really no use for them. You could just use them, I guess, to implant bastards in places, but even the bastard system doesn't work very well, right? But this concept was one that I really liked. I do still have ideas, but I haven't really sat down and had a long thought about what the next thing is going to be. I mean, at least we're getting planets, right? Rocky ices are useless, but Tundra Ice Moon can be okay. But to me, I think the the idea of that game that made it compelling was more related to the idea of the Bastard Dynasty than it was to the character necessarily. I really wanted to play, like, I really wanted to start as an adventurer. Well, I mean, they, generally speaking, if nothing goes wrong, the schedule is pretty consistent. I try to do 3 episodes a week. Try to do them Monday, Wednesday, and Thursday. And then all the other stuff I'm doing, I just sort of fit around them as best I can based on how much time I have each day. Not very often that I actually have the time to do more than those 3 episodes per week on the main series, though. The scenes are, I think, more work than they might superficially appear to be. That 17 might be worth it, but not as a first world, I don't think. Check to see if everybody's doing something. Yes, they are. Well, I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed it so much that it is going to be the first series that goes right to the end date, which is a lot. And to be honest, I don't too much think about what the next game is going to be while I'm still playing one that I'm enjoying, because I don't want to get distracted. I like to stay pretty focused on the one game, plus maybe sometimes a modded game. So I don't really know what I'm going to do next. I think something in Africa really I like, but it feels like if they haven't announced anything, that the best idea would probably be something in the Byzantine Empire, especially since we never got there in this game. And I had honestly always expected that we would get to the Byzantine Empire eventually, but of course it collapsed. And when it collapsed, there was not really a lot of reason to go there anymore. And then the Valencia thing happened, and it made most sense to go back, right? I don't need you to check that planet out. You can check out this ice moon, though. I try not to make main series with mods, with big mods, simply because mod instability can be a big problem, and I don't want to lose a lot of gameplay. I don't want to lose a series because a mod decides to change itself in the middle of things. I've had problems with that more than once already, just in the time that I've been doing this, where a mod will decide to update midstream, and if I haven't prepared for it thoroughly ahead of time, it just kills the series. It was especially disappointing when it killed my best POD series with the mod update. I mean, I knew it was coming, and it was more than partially my fault, but yeah. I mean, there's a lot of stuff on that side of the map that I would like to do. But, and I don't like to think too much about the next series because I like to stay on topic in my brain. And gold mines are very good. Now, talking about like that Central Africa area, I think Mali is a good place to play down there, but I don't have any ideas for it. Like, there's nothing really in my mind that strikes me as being compelling enough to play. That doesn't mean there's nothing there, it just means I spent no time thinking about it. might be a reroll. Yep. I mean, it's a cool area with interesting history, but nothing that I've spent any time learning about or know anything about, which is not a disqualifier. I mean, I've certainly learned things specifically for some of my games before. I just haven't really... I don't know. To be fair, I've just not invested any real thought in it. And since I haven't invested any thought in it, I have really nothing to say about it. I like the area. There's a lot of potential there. But to play it, I'd have to come up with a character. Yes. One of my favorite games before I started, like, recording CK3 for YouTube to play, that I played many times before, is the Jewish Start in Oscom. I used to consider it to be somewhat challenging, but oh no, your ideas are fine. I'm not discouraging the ideas. I'm just trying to moderate your expectations as to my responses to them. Not telling you not to say them. I really don't know what I would do in any of the places you've suggested, except for places that I've thought about already. So my response is going to be, oh yeah, that's an interesting place, but I really don't know what I would do with it, right? This would be a really good start with the 15 and a 17 for this particular game mode, the for Refugee Fleet, if I can find at least a 20. You have no mission. There's nothing in this system for you to look at. That is why. Go here. You have no mission. Nope, that's no good. Okay. Go this way. Yeah, I thought about that. I thought about doing a Jewish playthrough. I think there's a lot of really interesting stuff you can do with a Jewish playthrough. Yeah, I've also thought about doing a Buddhist playthrough like that. The biggest thing I have with a Buddhist playthrough is I don't like long distance cultural or religious transplants, generally speaking. I mean, again, I'm not dismissing the idea, but generally speaking, I like to play people close to where they come from because they tend to be better integrated in the area. And it also makes it easier to get gameplay hooks, because I can use history to create great gameplay hooks. Just I'm going to move a guy from one place to another doesn't always make for the most interesting gameplay hook. I think a lot of it relates to how I construct a game, right? Because I don't... Yep. Yes, I did. And that's super interesting. That is the kind of thing I might find interesting. I don't know if this is playable. Really don't know if this is playable. Well, we don't have to keep up on it yet. If we find a planet that we can use in the next couple of systems we check, then we will continue. Otherwise, we're gonna do a reload, because this doesn't really currently feel playable. Like, it feels close. Where are you? There. But there's a limited amount of time that I can spend looking at planets before I have to actually decide someplace and settle. Hmm. 17 is almost good enough. Here, no. Nothing here. Going. Here. Ice Tundra planet. Okay. Do that. Is there another planet here? Is with colony ships, I need to find a planet that has at least a 20. Let's see if we can. Well, we could just look at it from here. This is the best place to look at it from. So we need to find a planet that has a 20 colonization suitability. That is the minimum for a profitable world. If my first world was a 20, though, my economy is going to be trash. If I don't settle soon, though, I'm going to have problems. Right? So we would put a colony ship from our colony ship list. Right? Because we have ships. Because this is a refugee fleet start. In a refugee fleet start, you don't start with a planet. So you don't get a good economy-based planet to start, like a good strong planet to start with. You start on ships, which makes the game much, much harder. And I have not had a good time in my attempts to make this start work. In fact, the couple of games that I played on the channel, they did not go. They tried to go, but they did not go. Sort of. Trying a new strategy. But like how this game works, that strategy is dependent on me being able to find a suitable game start. No, refugees, correctly. Nobody's a slave. We're all free. We don't have a planet anymore because we ran away from it. Oh. Yeah. Yeah. I still haven't found a way to present Stellaris so that it balances out the amount of work that I have to put into it compared to the amount of views that it gets. The last Stellaris series was the most fun I had in a Stellaris series in a long time, but then when I got busy over Christmas, I simply didn't have the time to put the work into it. Which is not great. I need probably an economic technology. Don't have whatever I need to get the next drives. Maybe just fast mining. That's cool. I have a lot of species with lore behind them that I've never used for anything. In fact, most of the games that I play are almost 100% species that I've designed as the AIs when I play Stellaris. But they're having a huge update to Stellaris again, which means the game probably in the next couple of months isn't even going to play like it does now anymore. It's going to be like a completely different game again, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But there's really no way to know whether or not I'm going to find the new version enjoyable. And obviously the usual thing is going to happen. We're out of fuel. We're totally out of fuel. Yeah, we're done. This is a restart. If I do not find a 20 planet before my exploration ships run out of fuel, it is not a game. There is no path to victory. Same settings though, nothing changing here. Yeah. Apparently they're removing pops in the next update, which is interesting. And restructuring how the precursors work. It'll probably be fine. But it is weird to play a game where every few years it just becomes a completely different game. Well, I think they're doing it because they never solved the slowdown problem. The game has an intense slowdown problem due to the number of things it has to calculate with all the pops. Last time they lowered the number of pops, made it a little better, but it's still not good. We have one planet that could be useful here. This rocky ice moon. So you can explore that, sir. Then guess we just span out again, right? And small stars don't always have planets, but that's fine. Yeah, I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do. Yeah. Take fast mining again. Since we haven't met anyone yet. I don't know. I liked the last version. I didn't like the change to habitats, because habitats were my favorite way to play, and it just became a completely different thing as when they changed it. Why are you showing me danger? No, that's my fleet. What am I talking about? That's not danger. It's not a red skull and a lightning bolt. It's a yellow lightning bolt. That's me. Hopefully we can find a useful planet this time. I am very interested to see what they're doing. Sometimes I feel like if they're going to make huge changes like that, they should just give us a new game. I used to play Civ without end dates. But then I just found out, I just started to feel like I was getting everything done long before the end date anyway, like everything I wanted to do was done. Which is a phenomenon that, especially in Civ 6, would happen all the time. I would be finished long before the end date. Everything I wanted built was built. Everyone I wanted conquered was conquered, and I had already met a victory condition. Guess we will do the historical data. 6. Still no luck at all. I guess you're going all the way out there. Frozen Ice Planet. Ice Tundra World. Oh, there's more than one place in here that you could potentially explore. Yeah, I like simming in Civ. Like, I like to just build stuff, but it always ends up. I think it has a lot to do with just the way they made the way they made Civ 6. Made me feel less like simming. I don't know if it makes my mind tougher. I don't actually think I even played Civilization Revolution. And 6. Game is not being generous at all today. Not even getting to get a start in. We'll find something useful eventually, though. Search breakthrough? Well, that was going to make that not take a million years. Yeah. By the time Civ 6 came out, I don't think I had played Civ 5 in almost a year. I just had the game set aside. I'd been playing a lot of The Sims at that time, actually. Civ 7 comes out in March, I think. And everything you can do here. You still have Q. Haven't reached your location yet. Sims can be very relaxing. Usually, I used to have a habit of playing it around Christmas time, around the most stressful time of the year. But last couple of years, I've dedicated most of my time to the channel that wasn't already spent at Christmas. So, I haven't really been playing it anymore. Really? I am getting absolutely zero luck. Okay. We're almost there. Spawn then. Very bad luck. I mean, I guess we haven't explored that many planets yet, so to be fair, it would be extremely good luck to have already found something this soon. Probably should be running 4, since we haven't found a planet yet. Oh, did you get attacked? You did get attacked. By what? That's an interesting idea. Still not informing me what the character is. Like, who the person I'm trying to play is. Okay. This is much the same result as the last one. We are getting frozen planets, but we are not getting frozen planets we can live on. Nope. Okay. So this is guarded by pirates. Is there an actual pirate station here? Or is this just a pirate ambush? I don't see a pirate station here, but there might be one in the system someplace. Only really manually check for them right now. Fine. Probably gonna have to leave that unexplored. Which is annoying because very likely it's good. Or at least useful. cycle through. Send you here. Yes. Okay. Nothing. Somehow the second try is worse than the first try. Done. Check this star then. You are settling into an empty system. This way. Okay, fine there. Dangerous system. Also empty. Head up that way. So this is definitely a pirate station. Gotta be, otherwise they wouldn't be showing. There it is. That there's fuel in the system. I think this game is trying to do a different thing than Stellaris, so I wouldn't expect it to look the same. Stellaris is a game that depends a lot more on immersion. This game really isn't about immersion. But yeah, I mean, it's a game by a much smaller developer that costs a lot less money to make. And is a much more recent release, too. This might be another fail. Another pirate? Okay. All right. That's funny. That is another pirate station right near where I'm starting. This is probably another fail. In fact, I'm just going to make it a fail before I spend any time with it. Let's see if the next one's going to work. Settings the same. Yeah. Yeah, which is why I try not to compare them. Because I don't think you're really getting a good impression of what either game is about if you try to compare them. This game is much more like technically minded and economics minded, and Stellaris is more like just living inside of a space game. Like a completely different thing. A lot more immersion. A lot more trying to make ideas work, playing around with different traits. Okay, that is the second time in 3 times that they have spawned me with... Oh! Double! This might be an instant death. Because there's not just monsters, there's not just space beasts. There's also pirates right here. I'm drifting off. Okay, that's like a terrible start. All right. Let's try again. Going to eventually get a start that actually works. Gonna actually eventually get to play the game. Would be super fun if I could actually get to play this game. Don't start me in a nebula. Don't start me next to monsters. Give me a planet someplace nearby. That's not a lot to ask, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, the start criteria for... Why did you pick... Okay, usually you pick the planet to zoom in on, but I guess today we're interested in an asteroid. We're interested in the asteroid more. I mean, CK3 used to be like that too. If you wanted to start with a character that had specific things and the character was a random start, you had to like reload it over and over again. All right. Same as every time. Let's grab our ships. Give them hotkeys. Send them out. 1, 2, 3, 4. Find something useful, please. Yeah, it is a bit random. Wait. Did my... Oh, they did. So the fleet decided randomly, because I haven't set the automation yet to attack this thing. Hopefully they won't die. If they die, this whole thing will fall apart. No, they've got it. They're fine. Okay. Yeah, I like a lot of strategy games. Although, really, what I generally like... Oh, that... that's probably an automatic failure. That's probably an automatic reload, too. We will see. Just get this guy out of here. I don't know, send him over here. Oh, yeah. Nope. That's not playable. Apparently, they've tucked us right beside some other empire in a tiny little corner. Let's see how bad it is. Let's see if this border comes this way. Oh, they lost that border. Still, that doesn't change much. Yes. I love technical gameplay, but I want to also feel like it leads to something other than just getting the stuff I want. There are exceptions. Whoops. This is not how we load a new start. There are exceptions. but generally speaking, I prefer like to play a game that has sort of, I don't know, a story to tell. Either it has to inspire me to tell a story to myself, or the game has to have a story itself. And I'm really, like, for example, I'm not interested in history for its own sake, but I am interested in the lives of people in history. I need to reset these every time. I really just want to settle a planet. That's all I'm really asking for, is just for them to let me settle a planet. Started next to an abandoned destroyer, but no enemies. Let's try again. It's gonna eventually work. That's bad. That's not right. Oops, that's right. Hey! Send the ships back out. See if we can't find something. Having a lot of restarts today. Hopefully we can get this actually started without having to do 5 restarts. That would be just another way of me saying, yeah, I played a lot of KOTOR. I played KOTOR in 1 and 2 both on release. Haven't really been able to get myself to replay them in years, though. Anything good? Okay, we have Frozen Ice Planet. Rocky Ice Moon is useless. Frozen Ice Planet. Frozen Ice Moon. Okay, so there's 3 potential planets here. That could be good. There. And then there. Good, we got all 3 queued. Yes. I've never really actually successfully played New Vegas. Even though I do like Fallout, and I played Fallout 3 and Fallout 4, in addition to Fallout 1 and 2. For some reason, I've just never really enjoyed New Vegas. Not because it's not a good game. You can immediately recognize it's a good game. I just don't like the themes. Like, it just doesn't grab me. Not really their fault. It happens sometimes. Perfectly good games aren't enjoyed by everybody. On Borders again. Again, on Borders again. Ah, it's not my day. I've been having hard times getting a game start on this start type for a while. Like, I need a planet. There's no game without at least one planet. Yeah, I think I played Oblivion on my Xbox 360 when it very first came out. Um, Good night. Yeah, I. I don't know why. I made the decision to try to find a. Thanks. I I really enjoy making them. Like they're I like them a lot. I don't know why I can't get a start. I think I finally have a strategy to make this start work, and I cannot get a start. I don't think they are. I legitimately do not think that old games are better. Not to say that I don't like old games. I do like old games. But I think old and new games have lots to offer. I tend to not like extremely mainstream games, though. But that's a different issue altogether. They're made for an audience that isn't me. Okay. I have one planet here. That's a potential. I double clicked the hotkey. Let's see. Can't find something new. Useful. Playable. Because I kind of feel like I should have went with my original instinct, which was to just start with a start that was already like working. But then you're not really playing Refugee Fleet, are you? Like, never played Gears of War. Like, literally everybody I knew played Gears of War, but not me. I didn't play it even once. I don't know about that. If my gut was consistent, I would follow it, but it's not consistent. It says different things at different times. So, am I supposed to follow it when it tells me to do the thing, or am I supposed to follow it when it tells me to not do the thing? Let's put this down to mining and energy. Fast mining. It's not that I don't trust my gut. It's that my gut is inconsistent. Because my gut is inconsistent, trusting it makes me inconsistent. You could say that. Consistent would be better, and it never gives me that. I don't know that it's quite fickle, it's just, it just doesn't really know. Sometimes the thing I should be doing feels like the good thing to do, and sometimes the thing I shouldn't be doing feels like the good thing to do. It's very confusing. Like, part of me wanted to... I suppose there was a compromise, but that compromise also feels a little illegitimate. The compromise was playing saves up until the point where I realized they were viable and then starting them again. But that doesn't feel good either. It's more like, very seldomly is there a perfect choice. There are always 2 or 3 choices that could be worthwhile, and my brain will always tell me about both of them. And my gut will always tell me nothing. Oh, wait a second. That's a good sign. $15 is hardly good enough. Well, you get me excited over a 15. Why you giving me a pop-up over 15? Are you starting to feel bad for me, game? Is that what's happening? 15 is not good enough. Problem is, if I don't get at least a 20, I will not have an economy. My economy will collapse. The last 2 games that I played, the ones that are recorded on the channel, my economy collapsed around 25 to 30 years in the game because I didn't have enough population and I didn't have a good enough starting planet. But we're gonna make this work. I don't have to reload it like 75 times. I'm gonna keep going. That's just... How you doing? Nope. Okay. Check there. I mean, it is a bit of a challenge, you know? You're still telling me. No. Now it's just gonna keep notifying me to colonize that world that if I start on, I will have a collapse. The economy will definitely collapse again. It needs to be at least a 20. Even my double population strategy will not save a 15. Not unless I can somehow get that 15 to 20 early, which there's just no way that's going to happen. It's hard to call a science fiction game based on exploring space and living on planets realistic. I prefer... You know, I'm not going to say that. I was going to say I prefer Stellaris' way of distributing planets by like living conditions, but actually I don't. I think they're both really unrealistic, but this one allows more types of planets to be available to you. Yeah, but I'm trying to have fun. It'd be nice if I could just find a useful planet. Just any useful planet would be nice. An ice moon. You. Please head here and explore this for me. Thank you. Yep. And yet so many players prefer to play the game in such a technical and restricting way, instead of exploring all the possibilities that it has. I mean, this is totally a reach, but hey. The lore in this game is mostly just... I would say, like everything else, it's not really trying to do that too much. So there is lore, but it's mostly related to, like, the last war, the last game, fighting bug people. Definitely not trying to do the same things as Stellaris, so it's not really going to be comparable to that game. Mostly because there's not really precursors or anything like that. Most of Stellaris' lore is based on the precursors. Am I? Nope, I'm not. I don't think it's fair to say there's barely any lore. I would just say that it's straightforward, right? Like it is the thing that it is, right? You're trying to rebuild after a great war that destroyed everything, and there's evil bug people. And if the evil bug people come back, no one's gonna have a good time. Eventually, one of these times, I'm gonna find a planet that I can settle on. And it's not that 15, that's for sure. Why is it signaling the 15s this time when the last time it did not signal the 15s? Empty system. Almost feel like I should have just settled on the 17 in the first game. Maybe I should move these up. Far past. Annoying. Oh, we found more pirates. That's nice. They're gonna try to kill us. They might actually succeed. Nope. Got away. Is it even worth re-entering the system? Yes, it is. Alright, when you're done fleeing, could you, take a look at this for me? The pirates don't seek you out, but they usually don't do that. Okay. We got here an ice planet. That is also an ice planet. Here, nothing again. This guy's getting real unlucky. Send you over this way. Hope the pirates don't go anywhere near him. Anthropods? Anthropoids? Anything up here? Grassland world we probably won't be able to live on. Nope. Okay. Find anything here? Still searching. I think I played every current origin on Stellaris except for the dragon one. There's nothing there either. Right. We're finding nothing. Yeah, definitely seems interesting. I've just never got around to playing it. Usually I pick something else. By far the most common one I play is the one where you start with habitats. Headphones are being annoying. That is nothing there. Go here. Nothing here. Go there. You. Still gotta check the other one. Okay. Oh yeah, that's great. Another ice tundra planet with pirates on it, which means useless. It is an empty system. Here. Forced to flee. Of course you were. You. Still searching that. Well, I mean, most space fiction is a metaphor for sea exploration, and the exploration has pirates. Shouldn't say most science fiction. Should say most spacefaring science fiction is a metaphor for sea exploration. Thus, there's always pirates. Finding nothing. I think it's short-sighted to make broad, specific, absolute statements about what the future will hold. All right. I give up. I think I'm going to end this stream because I am not getting anywhere, and I succeeded at what I wanted to, which was testing the stream so that I can adjust my settings. Clearly, I have absolutely zero luck today, and I'm going to have to just do this again. Hopefully it'll turn out better. Let me do it again. Thanks for chatting with me. But yeah, I'm going to bring this to an end because it's clear that the game is going to just struggle with me, and my settings are imperfect yet, so I'd like to adjust them before we try this again. Night to you too.